Hi, I'm Fifi, and this is Going Deeper with the Lord. It's Monday, and I'm continuing to share lessons that I'm learning about relationships while doing life with God. So, one of the things that I really appreciate about the wilderness or a place of obscurity with the Lord is that it helps us to establish boundaries, and it also helps us to find and establish a place for God in our lives. It helps us to make room for God in our lives and to make Him a priority in our lives. Because when we think about the Israelites in the wilderness, their lives were centered around God. They had no responsibilities. Their responsibility was just to obey the Lord. On their day-to-day living, they depended on the Lord. They moved when the cloud moved. They stayed or camped when the cloud camped. So even with my walk with the Lord, I've realized that just doing life with Him in obscurity has helped me to establish a lifestyle that I didn't know before. Before, I didn't have boundaries. It was like I was accessible to my friends and family at any time of the day, even at night. If other people could wake me up with a phone call. But as I started doing life with God, I started establishing boundaries. And even more so in the wilderness season, I had to learn to make God my 9 to 5. So God is my 9 to 5. And I ensure that I am more accessible and more available to God than I am available and accessible to everybody else. But this can be very hard for family and friends, because if we are home or we are no longer in a 9 to 5 and they know that we are home, they tend to call anytime, and they tend to want to talk any time of the day. I found that it was very hard for me to establish boundaries, but I still kept them. And I would say, well, I'm not available to talk right now, or I'm not available to talk about these things right now, because I've structured my life in a way that I do more to recharge my spirit. I do more to spend time with the Lord. And we have had it like in so many platforms and other believers. People always encourage us that before you meet with anyone else, start your day with the Lord, spend time with the Lord. But that is for people that have other responsibilities during the day. But for some of us who are home more, is it makes sense for us to spend more time with the Lord throughout the day and to prioritize in recharging ourselves spiritually so that we stay aligned with the Lord throughout the day. So one of the things that I find very challenging is that when we are doing life with God and we try to establish boundaries, people tend to think, because they're not on the same path with us, people tend to think that we don't want anything to do with them, or we don't want to listen to them, or we are being insensitive on what they want to share. But these are the same people that would not have called us with the same matter had we been in a 9 to 5, had we been in the office, had we been serving another man's vision. But when we are serving the Lord, they think that just because we are home, just because we are sitting there listening to a sermon, we can pause the sermon and listen to them. I always tell my daughter that for me, God talks to me through sermons, talks to me through other people's testimony. So when I am listening to a sermon, or even when I am attending an online church, that is protected space for me and God. That is me trying to hear what God has to say to me. So if you are interrupting me and you're expecting me to stop what I'm listening to listen to you, in a way I'm saying, okay, this is not important. What you have to say is very important. So I have learned to just really stick by my word, to say, no, when I'm spending time with the Lord, this is my protected time with the Lord. When I am reading the Bible or listening to the Bible, this is me doing something that is beneficial for my spirit, because I need to stay recharged. If I am in a spiritually calorie deficit, I am not going to be pleasant around you. I'm not going to be responding to you in a pleasant way. So I need this for me to be okay spiritually, emotionally, and physically around you and socially around you. So that is what I have realized, that when God removes us from our jobs, or even if we didn't have to be removed from our jobs, if we are home or we have more time in our hands, we have to make God a priority. We have to do things that will help us to grow in the Lord, recharge our spirit, listen to sermons, listen to Christian books, listen to other people's testimonies to help ourselves to stay aligned with the Lord throughout the day, because this journey is not easy. And it is not easy to die to the flesh every day. So we cannot die to the flesh while we are still feeding the flesh more than feeding the spirit. So I just wanted to share that, my brothers and sisters, just to say that we always say we should make God a priority. But how do we do that? We do that by putting down boundaries, to say throughout the day, I intend to walk with intentionality, to listen to sermons, to listen to the Bible, to listen to podcasts, not just any podcast, those podcasts that we know that most of the time they are having topics that help renew our minds, or they have discussions that help us look at scriptures or look at our walk with the Lord in a totally different way. So I just wanted to share that one of the greatest lessons that I appreciate and have learned about the wilderness season is that we learn to make boundaries, and then we learn to find a place for God in our lives, so that even when He removes us from a place of silence, a place of isolation, a place of obscurity, to a noisy place out there in the world where we'll be serving Him, we will still know that I need to find time for God throughout the day or throughout the weekend, so that I don't end up refueling the flesh more than I am refueling the spirit. Brothers and sisters, that's all that I wanted to share. God bless you, and I will see you in the next video.